Guillermo Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities is a new horror anthology on Netflix gathering 8 respective genre creatives to do 1-hour horror films, much in the vein of what Showtime did around 15 or 20 years ago with Masters of Horror. Before each installment, Guillermo comes out and gives a little introductory primer, a la Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and spotlights the director of the episode. I'll give a brief description of each so that this review doesn't take an hour, and then give my overall impressions. Guillermo Navarro, cinematographer of Pan's Labyrinth and director of a number of episodes of Hannibal, directs Lot 36, which involves a deeply xenophobic man who bids on and wins a storage locker that contains strange relics. A secret room behind the locker reveals a dormant demon that he inadvertently awakens by disturbing the seal, keeping it at bay. Vincenzo Natali, director of Cube and also a number of episodes of Hannibal, does Graveyard Rats, which is a period piece involving an in-debt grave robber whose big score is stolen by the titular creatures. He decides to hunt them down in their underground catacombs to obtain his treasure and finds ROUSs,
rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
which definitely exist. David Pryor, director of The Empty Man, helms The Autopsy, about a doctor who has been asked to perform autopsies on a group of dead miners who may have been the victim of some kind of alien bomb. The Outside is directed by Anna Lily Amirpour of A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night and is about a woman who considers herself deeply unattractive and gets roped into using a new beauty cream which begins giving her a horrible rash. Keith Thomas, director of The Vigil, does the first of 2 Lovecraft adaptations, Pickman's Model, a take on the H.P. Lovecraft story involving an artist who begins seeing the grotesque reality beyond the surface of our known world. Dreams in the Witch House is done by Catherine Hardwicke of Twilight fame and involves a man who is searching for his long-dead sister whom he knows exists in the afterlife but cannot find a way to get to her until given a strange drug that transports him to an ethereal plane. Mandy director Panos Cosmatos helms The Viewing, about a group of eclectic and talented people brought to a rich recluse's home to view a meteor that he has obtained. And Jennifer Kent of the Babadook fame does The Murmuring, about a husband and wife birdwatching duo who have recently been beset by a tragedy and who set up shop in an abandoned house on a lonely island, encountering the spirits within. First, the good. This series has what Masters of Horror did not have behind it, namely lots and lots of money. You can see in every frame of these episodes, whether it be the multiple period pieces or the monsters themselves, that Netflix spared no expense when it came to making these. Everything just looks beautiful, the acting's outstanding, especially in The Murmuring, and there is a sheen of quality here that you don't usually get from horror anthology series like these. Comparing this to something like Shudder's Creepshow, for example, there is no comparison. Creepshow already looks cheap, and it's only amplified when you see what money, crazy talented directors and actors, and the creative force of a Guillermo Del Toro can do. That being said, the biggest problem with this series is exactly the problem that Masters of Horror had when it aired its 2 seasons. These stories do not need to be an hour long. The vast majority of the stories in Cabinet of Curiosities could have been amazing 22 to 30 minute long shorts. We have evidence of what happens when a big company throws a ton of money at a short horror anthology format with big-name directors and actors. It's called Tales from the Crypt. It's a shame because though all of the films in this series are solid, every one of them could have been great had 20 or 30 minutes been cut out of them. The best ones are Jennifer Kent's The Murmuring and David Pryor's The Autopsy. The weakest being the 2 Lovecraft adaptations, Pickman's Model and Dreams in the Witch House, the latter which, for my money, Stuart Gordon adapted better in Season 1 of Masters of Horror, even though it doesn't have any of the rad visual flair that Hardwicke can bring with Netflix money. Again though, all are solid and beautifully shot. I wouldn't call any of them bad by any means, and I recommend throwing one of these on each night before sleep, if nothing else to show Netflix that we want to see more of this kind of thing. Here are my letter grades for each episode. Lot 36 a B-, Graveyard Rats a C, The Autopsy B, The Outside C, Pickman's Model C-, Dreams in the Witch House C-, The Viewing B-, and The Murmuring an A.